Most people think wealth looks like something. A new truck in the driveway, designer everything, vacations posted every other week. But the people actually building real money, they look completely ordinary. Sometimes they look like they're struggling. Here's what nobody tells you: real wealth is invisible on purpose. And if you've been doing the right things, but still don't feel rich, this video is going to change how you see yourself. 8 signs you're already on track. I'd bet you've got at least 3 of them right now. Sign 1. Your spending gap exists, and you protect it. It's not about how much you make. It's about the distance between what you earn and what you actually spend. That gap is where wealth is built. Marcus is 28 years old, makes $75,000 a year, and spends $57,000. That $18,000 gap doesn't sit there doing nothing. It becomes investments, emergency cash, and options he can actually use. Derek is the same age, makes the same $75,000, and spends $81,000. Credit cards cover the rest. Same income, same city, completely different trajectories. 10 years from now, Marcus has choices: a down payment, the ability to leave a job he hates, a buffer that turns financial stress into calm. Derek has a detailed explanation for why he never got ahead. Track your gap this month. Just 1 month. If it's positive and growing even slowly, you're already doing what most people never figure out. Sign 2. You're playing a game most people can't even see. Here's what bothers me about financial content online. Everything viral is about shortcuts. Some new hustle, some stock about to explode, some guy who turned 3,000 into $1 million in 18 months. And people chase it. They jump from thing to thing, always looking for the moment everything clicks. Marcus doesn't do that. At 28, he sets up a $500 monthly contribution into index funds and leaves it alone. Doesn't obsess over it. Doesn't panic when the market drops. Actually, he keeps buying because everything's cheaper. 20 years of that discipline turns $120,000 in contributions into somewhere around $350,000. Derek, at the same age, jumps from crypto to drop shipping to day trading. Never stays anywhere long enough to let compounding work. 20 years later, he has $58,000 saved and a long list of almost moments. Quiet wealth isn't loud. It's boring, consistent, and automatic. And if you're already thinking in decades instead of days, you're doing what 90% of people won't. Sign 3. You have a cushion and you don't talk about it. I'm going to be real with you for a second. I remember sitting at my desk, mid-20s, decent job, looked fine from the outside, and realizing that if my car broke down that week, I genuinely didn't know what I'd do. Not a plan, just dread. That kind of financial fragility is exhausting in a way that's hard to explain until you've lived it. You're not broke in the obvious way. You're just one bad week away from a crisis. All the time. So when I finally built up 3 months of expenses in a savings account, the feeling wasn't excitement. It was quiet. Like a background hum finally turning off. By 29, Marcus has built up $18,000 in a high-yield savings account. When his laptop dies, he replaces it without checking his balance first. When his company announces layoffs, he's concerned, not terrified. He has time to think instead of just react. Derek, at the same age, has $160 in checking and $200 in savings. Every unexpected expense becomes a spiral. Car repair goes on the card. The card accrues interest. Everything else gets tighter. 3 to 6 months of expenses saved puts you ahead of the majority of Americans. Most people find out they needed that cushion after the crisis already hit. You built yours before it came. Sign 4. Your income went up and your lifestyle barely moved. This is the one that separates people who look wealthy from people who are wealthy. Marcus gets a promotion at 31. Income jumps from $75,000 to $92,000. His lifestyle barely moves. He upgrades one thing, a slightly better apartment, $300 more a month. Everything else stays the same. That extra $14,000 a year goes straight into investments. By 38, his portfolio is sitting at $260,000. Derek gets the same promotion, same jump to $92,000, but now he has a $2,300 apartment instead of $1,500, a car payment on a new lease, nicer clothes, more dinners out. By 38, he has $41,000 saved. He feels successful because his lifestyle upgraded. Financially, he's barely moved. When you get a raise and your first thought isn't, what can I buy, but how much more can I redirect, you've shifted in a way most people never do. Sign 5. Other people's money moves don't affect you anymore. When you're broke, comparison is constant. Your coworker buys a new truck. Suddenly, your paid-off car feels embarrassing. Your friend posts a vacation, and you're calculating whether you could swing it on credit. Social media is engineered to make you feel behind. And for most people, it works perfectly. Marcus sees Derek finance a $56,000 pickup at high interest, and his honest reaction is just nothing. Maybe a little sympathy, because he knows what that payment looks like stretched over 60 months. He knows what it's worth when Derek tries to sell it in 4 years. Derek sees the same truck his co-worker bought and thinks he needs to upgrade too. Finances a $50,000 vehicle. 2 years later, he's underwater on the loan and stressed every month. When you stop comparing, you stop making financial decisions based on other people's highlight reels. You build based on your plan, your math, your timeline. That immunity to marketing, to peer pressure, to FOMO is worth more than most people realize. Those three forces keep more Americans financially stuck than low income ever has. Sign 6. Money isn't running in the background of your mind all day. And this one is underrated. When you're financially stressed, money is everywhere in your head. Every lunch is a calculation. Every bill is low-grade dread. Every week feels like a negotiation with your bank account. That mental tax is real. It exhausts you in ways that go beyond the numbers. But something changes when your financial foundation gets solid enough. Money becomes background noise. By his early 30s, Marcus's finances run on autopilot. Savings automated, investments automated, bills handled. He rebalances once a year and spends the rest of his mental energy on things that actually matter. What he wants to build, who he wants to spend time with, what kind of life he's actually designing. Derek, at the same age, still thinks about money constantly, always looking for the next deal, the next side hustle, the next move. But because there's no system underneath, everything requires constant attention. He's mentally exhausted from managing money poorly instead of building money that manages itself. That shift from financial survival mode to financial background noise is a clear sign you've leveled up. Real wealth is quiet. Sometimes it's even boring. But boring money almost always leads to an interesting life. Sign 7. You've started buying back time. Most people figure out eventually that money is a tool. What takes longer to learn is this: the best thing you can do with money, once the basics are covered, is buy your time back. Mid-30s, Marcus pays $150 a month to have his apartment cleaned. That buys him 3 hours he spends with people he cares about or working on something that actually moves his life forward. He says no to things that don't serve him. His calendar has white space in it. Derek, at the same age, does everything himself to save money. Saturday cleaning, Sunday errands, evenings packed with tasks. He feels productive. He's exhausted. You start paying for convenience over deals. You say no more often. You protect your time like it's money because at this point, it is. These are quiet upgrades most people miss because they're internal. Real wealth isn't just what's in your account. It's how free you feel when you wake up. Sign 8. You stopped explaining why it's not your fault. Look, the economy is brutal. Housing costs are real. Student loans are real. None of that is made up. But here's what I've noticed. 2 people can have the exact same obstacles, same income, same city, same age, and end up in completely different places a decade later. The difference usually isn't circumstances, it's ownership. Marcus, at 35, still making $75,000 in a city where rent isn't cheap, works with what exists. He keeps a roommate longer than most people would. He redirects what would have been a car payment into his investment account. He meal preps on Sundays. When friends ask why he hasn't upgraded his life more, he's clear the portfolio comes first. The rest can wait. Derek, at 35, spends energy explaining why it's impossible. Rent is too high. Student loans are killing him. He deserves to enjoy his money now. He's not wrong about any of the obstacles. He's just using them as reasons to stop instead of constraints to work around. By 38, Marcus has $260,000 invested. Derek has $41,000, and a very detailed story about why that's not his fault. Ownership doesn't mean the system is fair. It means you stop waiting for it to be fair before you act. When you own your financial reality, even the parts that aren't your fault, your money starts to move. Here's the truth. Wealth rarely announces itself. There's no notification, no number that suddenly feels like enough, no moment where everything clicks into place all at once. It comes slowly, through habits that compound, through decisions that feel small and boring in the moment, through years of choosing the harder right thing over the easier wrong one. If you're doing any of these 8 things, even just a few of them, you're already on a path most people spend their whole lives looking for. You just might not be able to see it yet. Keep going. The quiet ones almost always win.